Hi everyone, it's been quite a long time since I posted my last video on the UWC application process, but I have a major update to share with you guys regarding my academic career. So last December, I was admitted to the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania as part of the early decision cycle, and that's where I'll be attending this fall. I just graduated from RCN over 2 weeks ago, and I wanted to, do something similar to my previous videos that did quite well and were popular, sharing some of the tips that I have that I think will be really helpful for applying to not just UPenn, but US universities in general. I think the timing is really great as well because I'll be offering essay consulting services over the summer. If you need help with essays, basically crafting your story, your college persona, and if you need assistance with Common App, please feel free to reach out via my email. I'll have it somewhere here and also down in the description box below. I think my rates are pretty affordable compared to what others are charging. So if you're interested, please feel free to reach out, and I'm going to talk more about it later in the video. The first tip that I have, we're going straight into it, is, I think it has been said before, but I want to re-emphasize it, is to show multiple dimensions of yourself. Now, you're limited to these 3 to 5 essays plus your personal statement to show the college admissions officer who you are as a person. So why would you waste precious space repeating yourself and kind of saying the same things over and over again, right? If you've already, shown your considerate, your kind persona in your thank you note essay, then for the community essay, try to show your leadership and your strength in other areas. Unless there's something that's really key to who you are that you want to emphasize, maybe you only briefly touched upon it in your personal statement and you want to share it again in your supplemental essays, I think that's okay. But try to show as many different sides of you, like different dimensions of you as possible, because you really want to be a fully layered human being, not just showing this one kind of side of you. Tip number 2 kind of relates to tip number 1, and it's that while you should be showing different versions of yourself, make sure that it's still cohesive and that you can still kind of tell that you're the same person. Basically, in my essays, I would say I also showed a lot of different dimensions of myself, but what it all basically boiled down to was that I was this kind of global dialogue facilitator, considering my background at my international school and the extracurricular activities that I did. So even though you're showing these different dimensions of yourself, there should still clearly be a link. So while it's great that you show these different versions of yourself and these different sides of you, make sure that when it all boils down, when you all condense what you're saying, it's really clear kind of what person you are. And I think this kind of can be difficult to do, so it's really good to kind of receive external help, as somebody who's kind of more subjective can really tell whether your essays are cohesive or not. Tip number 3 is to write at a student level. I think this is where a lot of mistakes happen, because I know a lot of my friends who used very expensive college consulting services and who had these really great stats and extracurriculars who still got rejected from Ivy League institutions. And I think one of the main problems was that it didn't really sound like them at all. Because when these adults, I think they were like 30-year-old men and women editing your essays, when these people kind of interfere with your essays, then it's very clear to an admissions officer, I think, whether this is an 18-year-old speaking or a 30-year-old adult speaking, right? So I think if you were to receive help on your essays, or if somebody is like subtly influencing you, then it's really important that it's somebody who still has this kind of youthful teenage tone, if that makes sense. So perhaps somebody like who's already who's recently gone through the college admission cycle or somebody who's still at university, because I think it's really, yeah, as I said, it's really clear whether it's an adult speaking or an 18-year-old speaking. So not just in the sense of like vocabulary, just in general, like I feel like you get this sense of energy from the essays and it's really clear. There's a supplemental essay, at least for Wharton, where they ask you if you could like solve a problem through a business, what would it be? And I want you guys to choose an issue that actually resonates with you and that you're actually passionate about, rather than choosing this big flashy problem just to impress the admissions officer, because it's really obvious whether it's something that you're passionate about and that's something you can actually solve versus something that you think people want you to solve. Yeah, try to tackle tangible, relatable issues at the student level. It doesn't have to be super impressive. It has to be an issue that actually maybe has affected you, somebody close to you. And there's a lot of these kind of essay questions where they ask you to tackle a problem in society or whatnot. So I think it goes without saying for these other essays as well, make sure that you choose an issue that you're actually passionate about and something that you can actually do at a student level. Tip number 4 is to be vulnerable and be open. Write down your true emotions. The admissions officers will also recognize that you are human with your own emotions. I know this can be hard, but if you think about it, the people who are reading your essays, unless you decide to share them, are people who don't know you at all. Like, you're just this abstract kind of idea on paper to them, and they're not gonna come find you and ask you about certain things that you've written, and they don't really even know who you are. So you can really be vulnerable here. You never really will have to face the consequences of somebody knowing your true emotions if that's what you're scared about, because it's just this admissions officer that's reading your essay. There's a high chance that you will probably like never see them. Like, even if you get in, I don't think it's very likely that you'll run into them and that they'll like specifically remember, oh, you said this about, I don't know, your childhood experience. That's not really gonna happen. So make sure that you're open and vulnerable. I'm not saying to share something that you're obviously not comfortable sharing, but if there is something that you want to share but the fear of somebody else reading it or knowing is holding you back, just know that it's probably not going to ever be shared. So feel free to write whatever you want to write about, and I think that will come across as genuine and as your true self. Tip number 5 is to get feedback. I think when I was going through my admissions cycle, I received feedback from around 2 to 3 teachers, including my college guidance counselor, and also, I don't know if they still do this, but I think a student club at UPenn was doing this really amazing program where they offered free feedback to students who signed up. I think it was like via a Google form, and that was really, really helpful. So definitely reach out to people, teachers, maybe friends you have at uni, even your parents. Make sure you get objective feedback, because it's really easy to get caught up in whatever you're saying. And I think feedback kind of really opens your eyes to things that you might have never even thought about. So I think receiving different kinds of feedback from different kinds of people was really enlightening for me, and was a huge factor in improving my essays, because you should not just be submitting your first draft. You should be having multiple drafts and kind of keep editing your essays. And summer is a great time to start, so when you have all this free time. So I think definitely if you don't have anybody who can give this kind of feedback to you, especially because I think you should definitely get feedback, at least one round of feedback from like a student or like recently a student. If you don't have anybody that you feel comfortable asking for such feedback, then definitely find somebody. So yeah, if you don't have anybody comfortable asking, then definitely find somebody. You found me, you can reach out. I'm really open to helping you out with anything that you might possibly need during your college admissions cycle. So that basically marks the end of today's video. I hope my tips were even remotely helpful. And I know it seems scary now, but think of how good it will feel when you're done with everything and when you've been accepted to hopefully your dream university. I believe in you guys. You can do this. And if you need any help, you know where to reach me. So, bye, guys.